You're listening to the Mobcast Network.
It's Mando Monday!
Mando
Monday!
I'm curious to see how this is going to work with the syncage.
Well,
you know.
Oh, okay. So you're just gonna leave me hanging?
I just left you. I was like, I don't know the rest of the words.
It's just Mando Monday over and over again.
Yeah, well, I forgot them.
It's only 2 words.
Repeatedly, I forgot after 2.
I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by, as always, our Jedi Master,
JD. Howdy.
And via HoloNet, the men who puts man into Mendoza.
Menudo?
I got a big Mendoza.
Why
I don't know what that means.
why are we talking about Menudo?
Ricky Martin, man. Ricky Martin.
Drew Bangs. Drew Bangs.
I like how we went to 2 different Ricky Martins.
But it wasn't his main song.
Right.
Oh, that's delightful.
So, this is the show about the Mandalorian.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Drew, how you doing, co-host?
It's been a rough day, but I'm good. I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but this is what we got.
Yeah, we got him on HoloNet.
His from what I hear, his car is worse than the Razor Crest.
It's only fitting that it happens this episode this week because I was stranded.
So, question: did law enforcement or anything come help look at you and go, "Nah, screw you, we gone"?
Yep.
Just let you stay by the side of the road.
They literally slowed down, saw that I was doing changing the tire, and then drove off.
Nice, just like the New Republic.
Right. But if he was a lady, they'd help.
Well, yeah, it is.
Or if I was a frog woman.
I'm sorry, PG-13.
I think titties is a PG-13 word. Isn't it a medical term, right?
Sure, yeah, that's what's in Grey's Anatomy's book.
Right.
And this is how.
Which page is? Yeah, that's exactly right. Let me turn to the page with the titties on.
Index T, baby. Index T.
Best part of learning to draw. Sorry.
Do you mean we can make a mini
dot,
size?
right?
What, Drew?
I said circle, dot.
Got that cootie shop up
Now
in
I
here.
got my cootie shut.
Yeah.
So we got some announcements before we start the episode. How about that?
Ooh.
So I was on the Uncle Henry show last night, and we talked all things Star Wars and other cool stuff. And it was a blast. And I did a shout out to this show actually in particular, like the one you're listening to right now. So that was fun. We gave Uncle Henry a Baby Yoda. He hates Baby Yoda.
What's wrong with? Why does he not like Kevin?
Because he doesn't like Muppets. He had a rant about Muppets, which was excellent. And among the highlights were, since whole Mopcast Network, our whole thing's about celebrating fandom. He had 10 things he wishes I was a fan of.
Okay.
And then he had 10 ways he could fix Star Wars.
Okay.
So definitely watch out for those. There'll be links to the show on our show notes, but it was a good time. And I want to thank out to Deep Fried Studios and Uncle Henry and Johnny Gwynn for having me on, and Stephanie from Call Movie Cantina joined me toward the end of it, and it was real fun. We had a blast. So
cool.
It's really good. Speaking of Stephanie, November is Men's Healthcare Month. Movember. She's a big proponent of that charity. Her father died of prostate cancer a few years back, and so she is. This is her number one cause for the year.
Sure.
Her being a member of Mopcast, and we've taken that up as our charity of the year for the last few years. And so, men's health is very, very important. All 3 of us here are dudes, right? Or at least we all 3 identify as dudes.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
And so go out there and get checked, make sure everything's working, and also mentally check up on your dudes. 2020's been rough, so
Shit.
And dudes are like, I mean, come on, we're all like stoic and stuff, and so we don't like to talk about things. So just kind of ask what your dudes are. You guys okay? Everybody good over here? I know you've had a shitty day.
Oh yeah, it's been a real shitty day, but whatever, is what it is.
Well, just know I love you, man.
It got better.
I love him too.
It started out great.
I love you too.
But you're doing okay.
Oh,
You've
thanks,
had a rough day,
guys.
kind of.
I had a rough day. This week has been a rough week,
Right.
And to top of a rough year, and I'm just kind of over people that aren't my friends.
I got you.
But since we're here and we're talking about it, I'm actually doing better than I have in a while.
Good.
Because I've now finished a month on Wellbutrin,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm actually fighting depression with medicine.
See, look at
so
there. It can be done.
It can be done. I've leveled out a little bit. I'm not getting super sad anymore, which is nice.
Which is the bane of creative people,
Right?
To be creative, you have to be depressed. I don't see happy, creative people. It doesn't work that way.
I was in this weird cycle where I'd want to be creative and I want to do stuff, and then I just sit there and not do it because why? What's the point? It's horrible.
100% been there. It is a terrible cycle.
But
That's where the one good thing comes from is the fact that I struggle with such depression. So one good thing is just a reminder to myself about like, hey man, no matter how bad your day is, it's just one good thing away from, being better.
Awesome.
And that's true. That's true. But so this year's fundraiser for us is we're going to do the Cult Movie Cantina is doing a live podcast, and I think we're going to broadcast it live as well at Poindexter's here in Mobile. It's right across from South Alabama. It's a great little bar. It's something that Stephanie and I have been hanging out with the last few weeks doing karaoke. We love them. We love them out there. We're going to watch Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
And we're going to talk about Roadhouse. So Roadhouse is going to be the movie. I've got Roadhouse prizes. So and there'll be giveaways and ways to donate. So it's going to be pretty awesome. So
cool.
So that's November 20th. It's going to be 6:30. It's a Friday, and afterwards we're going to do karaoke because that's what we do. So it'll be so I invite everyone to come out there and give it to a good cause and have some fun. Talk about Roadhouse. Roadhouse is a great movie.
Absolutely.
Patrick Swayze, man, and the guy with the mustache, Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, who hasn't aged in 30 years.
No, it's the mustache keeps him young.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when he came
He's a
out.
beast.
Like, he was born with a mustache, and he just looks like that. And
Sure.
It's like, his first sentence was, beef, it's what's for dinner. And so,
Now I heard the jingle too, like the cat. Dun, 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 dun.
beef, it's what's for dinner.
Beef. It's what's for dinner.
It's what's for
it's
dinner.
good.
Other thing I'd like to announce, so in the end of this month, I am launching a new podcast called Boulder Free Zone Radio, a Stephen King The Stand podcast. It's a very long title. I'm a big fan of The Stand. It's a great book. It's a really cool miniseries, and CBS All Access is fixing to do a new version of the show. And so I have a co-host, Dr. Ann Guzzi, who's been on the Cult Movie Cantina with us before. She is an English professor at South. I mean, she's a legit doctor, and she got that PhD. And she's going to add some class to the network.
Okay.
And so she teaches a class on horror. She's great. And we're going to have guest stars, guest hosts throughout the run. So the plan is to do 4 weeks of the miniseries. We'll do each part of the miniseries every week, and then start with do a weekly recap like we do on Mandalorian on Mando Mondays for The Stand. So that'll be happening at the end of the month. So look out for that. Before we go into this week's episode, can we talk briefly about last week's episode?
Sure again.
Drew and his ultimate just being amazing
Oh, yeah.
and as awesome as he is, pulled some strings, paid off some people,
Slipped the bouncer a $5.
and got us. I'm gonna call it an exclusive because I haven't seen this anywhere else yet. So
It's according to the gentleman involved, he said that this was an exclusive. In the back and forth, he said this. I'll give you a story to remember. Is what he said.
And so he does. So we have here a brief message from W. Earl Brown, who was the Weequay bartender, who was on. He was also Dan on Deadwood. He's been in lots of other things, and he's just. you come to find out in this little segment he does that he's a huge Star Wars fan. So we're going to listen to the audio now.
Yep.
You look at the show notes and see the video that comes along with it. And thank you, Drew, for arranging this and making this happen. And thank you, Earl, for hanging out with us for a little bit. So we're going to play it now.
Hi, I'm W. Earl Brown, and I've been asked to give a shout out to Drew and JD and Scotty and all you folks over at Star Wars Life, where you sit around and talk about The Mandalorian. Now, since you called yourself a bunch of blurg suckers, I'm going to guess that you are fans or are at least familiar with Deadwood. So the casting of Oliphant and myself in the Marshall episode, as Tim and I like to put it, welcome to Mos Pelgo. It can be combative. Or another favorite line was, these are not the fucking droids you're looking for, cocksucker. So anyway, since it's a Western in outer space, it was a perfect melding of our worlds. Now, I have been asked to give a little anecdote about my time on Mandalorian. If you follow my Twitter, you've seen the story I wrote about getting cast, and there's a lot of info in that. But here's a little tidbit that was not in my Twitter feed. I've known Jon Favreau since I started out in Chicago. He and I were there at the same time as struggling young actors. He and I were always auditioning for the same beer commercials and truck commercials and what have you. Whatever came across Chicago, I would usually see him in the audition room. So we sort of got to know one another. Our paths still cross over the years. The last time I saw him, prior to Mandalorian, he was doing the Jungle Book on the same studio lot that we were doing True Detective. And he and Vince Vaughn are really tight. So he would come over and hang out with Vince and vice versa. So I would see him occasionally on the lot. But so I got a call out of the blue about being cast and being a Star Wars freak since I was 14 years old. I jumped at the chance. So I go there and I have to do a screen test for the makeup. So I'm in the full makeup and everything, and they put a cloak over me, and they had to have an escort with me to move me between. They were so super secretive about no one getting any photos or any idea that there's going to be a Weequay show up in the series. So we finished, and they said, well, we have to get clearance from Mr. Favreau. So we're going to have to take you over to the production offices. So, all right. So I go over, and there's a group that meets us in the elevator. And again, I'm hooded so no one can see me. We go up to the top floor. We go to the corner office, and there's like a phalanx of assistants. There's like 7 or 8 people, and they're waiting for Mr. Favreau to have a break. He and Mr. Filoni are meeting. So they find a moment. They're going to bring me in. So I'm ushered in. All of the assistants are standing behind us, and there's John and I face to face, and he's looking at the makeup, and he's giving them notes about shading and whatnot, and he's in real close, and I look him in the eye, and I went, dude, Star Wars. And like a 12-year-old kid, Favreau goes, I know. So, you see, it's not just the people that are watching the show that are rabid fans. It is also the people that are making the show that are rabid fans. And that's what makes Mandalorian so fucking good. So, this is the way.
How freaking cool was that?
That's so awesome. It was so good.
You know, my favorite part is I have to be careful since I'm recording at home, but my favorite part is being called a cocksucker by Dan.
Right.
And then he calls us blurg suckers.
Blurg suckers.
And he shouted out the show. Like, we need to open with that, man. That's fantastic.
We should add that to the list. Starting next week. That shouldn't be a problem at all.
I'm just talk here. You do the you do the technical stuff. It may happen.
Yeah, I know. It's like we pile it all on to Scotty. I'm like, here you go, Scotty, figure it out.
Not figure it out.
You said you're a producer. Produce.
Yes, that's what I do. I produce. But you know, it's really fun to see that the people involved are truly having fun, and I get that. I mean, which is great. Which it shows in the it shows in the episodes how much fun it must be to play in that sandbox.
Literally, these last 2 episodes.
Yeah, last couple episodes. Yeah. So, you know,
well, it comes through. I feel like it comes through in the performances. You know, and that's one thing that Earl said even in the piece, just how close he was to. Obviously, that's pre-COVID. How close he was to Favreau. Like that sort of those relationships and having that energy on set and that positivity and that emotion. it's coming through, man. It's coming through in every episode. There's no doubt about it. I even feel like this is something I was going to bring up later, but I'll bring it up now. I honestly feel like there's actually a little more pep in Pedro's voice under that helmet nowadays. I think in the voiceover recordings, he sounds a little bit happier. Is that just me?
Well, so I actually noticed that in this chapter. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's subconscious that he's happier, but I think it's, I want to give him the benefit and say it's a conscious decision because he's becoming, I don't want to say softer because he's still a badass, but he is taking care of this child. Maybe he is being more accepting. Like he and what was Oliphant's name? Cobb.
Cobb Vanth.
Yeah,
I mean, they became buddy pretty quick. I mean, I know there's a time jump at some point in there, but
Yeah, but
they were. I mean, and they fought together, which always helps.
in Oliphant's defense, it's easy to become his friend.
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely justified if you become his friend.
Right.
Yes.
I am a diehard fan of his friendship.
You know what? Let's just catch and release this conversation and move it somewhere else.
Well done.
Who's going to remember catch and release, by the way?
That's all right. We're beating this blurg with the deadwood. Okay.
Don't make me scream. 4.
All right. We should be gone with this conversation in 60 seconds.
Okay. All right.
You know, I need to lose
That was a
some
good
weight.
run.
I need to do
That
that
was a
Santa
good
Cruz
run,
diet.
fellas.
Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita. One of those. Is it Santa Clarita?
I think it's Santa Clarita.
I never
diet.
watched it.
I haven't either.
Clarita.
Him and Drew.
I tried.
It was a good run.
Thank
That
you.
was a
Thank you.
very good
I'm
run.
proud of us. But yeah, I think I kind of agree with you on Din Djarin's. Like, I think he's really kind of becoming a dad. I think he's like, I'm either going to find this kid or I'm stuck with him.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, and he's right now too little to be like to hold a blaster. And so,
But he could certainly murder babies.
he does not murder a baby. I'll take like maybe one.
Oh, no. This episode, he is a complete baby murderer.
He is not.
Wait, this is getting into some severe political possibility ramifications. We need to stop.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's like now all of a sudden it's the most apropos topic in the world.
Okay, all right. So let's table this conversation to after the recap, and then we can get into it because it's in the recap why he's not a. I mean, he's a monster. He eats anything, but he's not like. He doesn't murder babies. There's no babies in this episode.
No, I know because they were fertilized,
Right.
But still.
So there was for the pro-lifers out there was no conception yet.
All right, again, let's step back from this ledge.
So
I feel weird.
I need an adult.
I need a different adult.
All right, guys, you ready?
Absolutely, Mom.
Go for it.
Mandalorian Chapter 10, The Passenger, directed by Peyton Reed. He's famous from...
Peyton's Place?
No.
Okay.
I figure I'll let Drew answer this. He knows all. Do you know?
I don't know. I
Really?
actually don't know.
Ant-Man 2, and a bunch of other stuff. He directed those.
Oh, wow.
He picked up after what's-his-face left. And so, yeah, he's done some other stuff, but, yeah, Ant-Man 2 are kind of our genre films that he will know.
Okay.
Written by Jon Favreau, of course. I think he writes all of them, but the one that Filoni writes. Stars Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian, Amy Sedaris as Peli Motto. Misty Rosa is back, and this time she's playing the Frog Lady. That is her name, Frog Lady. There's no other name for her. Man, you have a future in this business, is what I'm saying.
Did you feel like her speaking voice was the same as the aliens from
Galaxy Quest?
Galaxy Quest? Yeah.
We need your help.
I think my kids think.
I mean,
doing
that
something
was
satanic
closer,
here.
Drew. That was closer to the invasion of the Body Snatchers from like 79 or 78.
Either that or he was hailing the magic conch from SpongeBob.
Do you guys remember Misty Rosas?
No.
She is the body of Quill. She played Quill last season.
Oh.
Yep.
Richard Ayoade is back as the voice of Zero. He's only here for a second, though. Paul Sun Young Lee as Captain Carson Teva, a.k.a. Dick! Sorry, Paul, but that man.
But you know what? That still gave me hope. Like, big guys can fly X-Wings.
Right.
If Porkins is flying and that dude's flying, I'm like, I'm in.
Right.
I will be Blue 17,
Right.
whatever.
Welcome to JD's X-Wing for big and tall.
That's
We
right.
got-
You know, you're in 0G. It doesn't matter what you actually weigh. As long as you fit, you're good.
We just squeeze you right in
No,
that
you know
bad
why
boy.
it works?
If you sit, you fit.
It's because after the Republic was formed, they actually found out they had enough uniforms to sew big and tall outfits. That's been the issue. Is they didn't let big and tall pilots in because they didn't have enough. They didn't have the right clothing because everything was Luke Skywalker size, which is like 5'7", Tom Cruise size.
Yeah. So it's like Luke, Wedge, Biggs. Yeah, I'll look
They're
about
all tiny like 5'8",
Tyree,
5'7"
Dutch,
9.
9, 10. Actually, well, 9 didn't fly the X-1. I did. I guess in
Well, technically 10 fly a B-Wing.
10. 9 flight didn't is
9 flies an X-Wing in the 3 that I like, but you don't.
right.
And he has a great
Terrible.
maneuver in the X-Wing game.
9's maneuver.
Oh,
Yeah.
he does. It's
Oh,
nasty.
Nine's pilot skill
It's a
is
U-turn.
Yeah, that U-turn and then he's got the U-turn. All the X-Wing T-70s have that, but his was pull all the stress if you're within range 1 and front arc of an enemy. So he could literally drift behind somebody if he's close enough. He's like, and I'm cool about it. Murder.
Sweet. Dave Filoni it returns as Trapper Wolf. And so do you know who the Frog Lady's voice was?
Oh boy.
No.
Do you know? Did you look it up? Did you know?
No.
D. Bradley Baker, who is all the clones in the Clone Wars. So he's Rex and all of them. He's all of them. So
Wow.
Rex is the frog.
Okay.
Today's Bounty Puck is on JD's favorite actress. Amy Sedaris. Amy Louise Sedaris was born March 29th, 1961 in Endicott, New York. She's the younger sister of the famed writer David Sedaris, who's a great essayist. He's wrote some novels too, but his essays are really funny. She has 114 acting credits to her name, but she's most famously known for a Comedy Central show, Strangers with Candy. That's why we call her that on this show. At home, she's also famous for At Home with Amy Sedaris, which she's been nominated for 2 Emmys for. She's also been an Elf, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. She's voiced characters for Steven Universe, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, BoJack Horseman, F is for Family, American Dad, and a lot more. She's an alumna of the Second City, Chicago. So here's some things she does when she's not acting that I thought was fascinating and somewhat fitting of, because she's such an odd character. She plays odd characters. That's what she really does. She
Very
just may
much.
be that person. I don't know. When not acting, she runs a cupcake and cheese ball business out of her apartment in Greenwich Village.
Makes absolute sense. I totally buy it.
And so I like cupcakes and cheese ball, which I don't think has anything to do with each other. I'm not a baker / cheesemaker. I'm just saying.
It sounds delicious.
She occasionally works as a waitress at Mary's Fish Camp in the West Village, so she goes to help out when she can. When she was appearing regularly on the Late Night with David Letterman show, she would buy new pairs of shoes with the money she made from the last appearance. So every time she'd make an appearance, she'd buy new shoes for the next appearance.
That's funny.
They get paid to go on talk shows?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nothing's free in this world.
Well, I thought it was free Oh, well. Okay. Shows what I know. Nothing.
Your day's coming. Your day's coming.
Yeah. Okay.
The
The world famous JD Voorhees will have his time. We're changing your name for stage.
And last but not least, Amy keeps free roaming mini Rex rabbit named Dusty, which she adopted from Rabbit Rescue. Dusty's bunny condo was designed by her friend designer Todd Oldham. Amy named her baked good business after her first rabbit, Tattletale.
She's insane.
Which is Netherlandish dwarf rabbit. She's active in the. I didn't know about this even existed. She's active in the New York City Rabbit Rescue and Shelter, and an honorary educator at the House Rabbit Society. I didn't know that was a rabbit thing in New York. Did you?
No, only in Central Park. Like, I would assume that most of these rabbits are they rescued from restaurants?
Or Central Park itself, but how do you get a Netherlandic, Arctic, beastie, saber-toothed rabbit from...
I don't know where Tattletale came from. Tattletale is also an adorable name for a rabbit. I'm just saying.
Maybe it's because it's New York, and we just don't ask questions in New York.
We don't. That's why I moved away.
That's right.
So yay, rabbits. Woo! All right, ready for the episode?
I wonder if it divided, and that's how she got it.
Or budded. If the thing divides, it's buds or divides. All right, ready for the mission report? After saving Freetown from a crate dragon, earning Mandalorian armor and some dragon meat, our friend Mando and the cutest little monster since Gizmo are speeding across the deserts of Tatooine when other bounty hunters rig up a tripwire that flips the Mando, the child, and destroys the speeder. The hunter fights for the child, but the Mando is quickly to beat them up. The tiniest bounty hunter captures the child, and Mando totally trades his jetpack for him. Of course, he sends the little bounty hunter up for a quick test flight and retrieves the jetpack. After, he falls to his death.
Everybody hilarious.
And the child's cool with it. Everyone's cool with it. It's just like, all right. Mando packs up what he needs and hoofs it back to Mos Eisley, where he finds strangers with candy playing sabacc with a praying mantis thing that they're lovingly called Dr. Mandibles. I wonder what Dr. Mandibles is a doctor of.
Facial protrusions?
Probably. It'd be funny as hell if he was a dentist. SWC wins a callback from Star Wars Rebels Season 1 with an idiot's array.
Yep.
And gets some info on where Mando can find other Mandos to do Mando things with. Enter Frog Lady. Yep, that's what we're calling her, though she's more of a salamander-looking thing. So Frog Lady has a canister strapped to her back with eggs. Her eggs. And she needs them for her husband to fertilize them. Kids, this is like the birds and the bees, but I guess it's more like Luke and the Death Star. You know, fly by and fire away. Ask your parents.
Hopefully it's like Luke and it's not like Dutch and it just impacts against the surface, because then that's awkward.
God.
I was proud I wrote that. I'm just saying.
Nice.
Thank you. Her husband has seen Mando's one system over. If our Mando will give her a ride, then she'll let him know where the others he agrees.
Your sentence was, if our Mando will give her a ride.
Yes.
But there's no reason. Because nothing.
I got you. I see where you're going with that.
So aboard the Razor's Crest, we learned something. The child really likes frog eggs. While Frog Lady's in the cockpit, the child heads in the back, nomming on her eggs.
Oh.
The Mando stops him. Now, luckily, Frog Lady doesn't keep count.
I actually thought that was going to be a thing.
Me too.
I thought she was going to be like, there were 32, now there's 31. What's up?
No, there's 32, now there's like 12.
Well, after that first one.
Right. After a quick nap, in the Crest is suddenly escorted by two X-Wings. Hey, look, Dave Filoni is back. I guess when you're an executive producer of a show, you can fly an X-Wing. Trust me, if I was an executive producer on this show, you damn right I'd be flying a B-Wing or an Interceptor or commanding an AT-AT.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I want to make a ship go bop, 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 bop.
Right? Lock them ass foils.
Ooh, we'll get to talk about that.
We'll get to talk about that.
Poop my pants.
Seems like the New Republic is now running things in this part of the Outer Rim, and they got some questions, but Mando doesn't like questions and leads them on a chase through the atmosphere of an ice planet. After some cat and mouse games, the Crest ends up falling into a crevasse, taking serious damage. He did not make his saving throw. Looks like all is lost until Frog Lady uses the body of Zero to talk basic to Mando. He made a promise to get her and her eggs to her husband, and if he doesn't, her whole family line will die. She totally guilts him into helping her again. Mm-hmm. While Mando goes to make repairs, Frog Lady goes off and finds a nice natural hot spring for her and her eggs to chill in.
Or opposite.
Right.
Okay.
Mando's not cool with that because he can't protect her at night. I think he's not cool with it because he cannot get into, he's got to remove that armor to get warm. So he's like, no, we all have to go do this. The child's not cool with it either because he can't eat any more of her eggs.
God, go.
So he wanders off where he finds a different kind of egg field in the snow and eats one of those. Inside is like a spider, and the other spiders don't like that, and they attack. So then this episode totally becomes arachnophobia.
And or Chamber of Secrets.
Right. I went with arachnophobia on this joke.
Fair.
Spiders everywhere. Spiders. They're the three hightail it back to the Razor's Crest. A giant mama spider monster is trying to get them as well, but Mando is clever, and some explosives used to slow down the monster. But I mean, all these spiders are pouring out of everywhere. Where is John Goodman when we need him?
He's in with the Connors. Right.
He's in New Orleans.
He's in New Orleans.
Having a cup of gumbo.
Barely escaping to the crest, the spiders are crawling in. Mando uses his blaster and flamethrowers to do his best to keep them at bay. One tries to eat Baby Yoda, but Frog Lady shoots it instead. Mando plans to take off regardless of the damage, but that plan is stopped by the giant spider, who is now on top of the ship holding it down. All hope is lost until blaster bolts out of nowhere kill the big spider and starts picking off little spiders. Mando goes to see who it is. Oh, look, it's the X-Wing pilots, and they're back, and they save the day. Go, New Republic! Woo! Hey, now can you help Mando fix his ship? What was that? La, 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 I can't hear you, they say as they fly off in totally not broken ships. Dude, the New Republic are totally dicks. Mando has to make repairs on his own, and he manages to keep the cockpit sealed as they limp in through space. The Frog Lady watches her eggs while the child sneaks one more bite. Seriously, that little dude eats anything. The end.
So we just saw the birth of the First Order, right? Like Mando's like, dude, we got to have something better than these New Republic assholes. Come on,
man, they were dicks.
I have a pretty big problem with the child, with Kevin. Kevin's an asshole.
He's a toddler.
They eat everything.
I know.
Promise.
Wait, you have children. Have your toddlers ever not been assholes?
No, they're all look who spawned they are. We know that. But the fact is that after she saved him, he still was like, just one more. Like, still speaks for them.
Dude, they're Pringles.
You can't just have one.
Yeah, just one.
They disappeared into his mouth like the fruit disappears into Anakin's mouth in episode 2. Like, just terribly magically, it just vanished. Did you
No, he
notice that?
slurps them. It's a slurp. They just slurp right in. They must be soft and gooey.
I would imagine so. Have you ever? Never mind. Anyway, dude, it was just like he was like opposite Pez. He was like reverse Pez.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what.
Now, if I don't get a Kevin Pez dispenser with round Pez, I'm gonna be pissed.
That's pretty genius.
TM.
Why aren't you in marketing?
Circle C. Copyright.
Circle C.
Circle C. So I want to talk about where I poop my pants. Okay, or would have, were I needing to poop. So I'm watching the episode, and these two Red Squadron X-Wings, they were Blue Squadron, weren't they? I mean, they had blue helmets, but red markings. It was weird. I was confused. Anyway, New Republic X-Wings in a classic patrol formation on either side of the Razor Crest. Dude, I'm telling you, if I'm any kind of anything in a Star Wars universe, and I'm flying, and they go to a channel that doesn't include me, and I look out my window and both of their S-foils go, I'm pooping my pants. I'm like, oh my God, because in this we've seen X-Wings in action, right?
Right.
We've seen the original trilogy and the T-65s. We know what they can do when they're a squadron, but it's also squadron versus squadron. So things are being picked off left and right. Plus, Drew and I have been playing squadrons. We know that it's super easy for an interceptor to blow us up.
Yep.
But in Mandalorian, we've seen them twice now. We've seen 3 of them in the Prisoner episode.
Right.
And now 2 of them in this. As a single fight, they are like, if 3 of them took down a space station.
Oh, yeah. They're punchy.
I mean, technically,
They're
one
super
took down a really big space station with Luke. But like, just with lasers, they're like, bop, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. And now they're like, bop, 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 big, ugly spider dead. Like, they obviously, they did a good job, in my opinion, of showing that X-wings are something to be afraid of.
So
for the random normal person.
So did they kill the big spiders with the
Oh yeah,
like the X-wing
oh,
lasers?
you
Yeah,
hear?
yeah.
I knew. I knew the
missed
second.
it. I missed
the
it.
second I saw the light flash and I heard the whop, it was. I was like, oh, X-wings, and then they got out and were like, brr, 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 with,
gotcha.
the,
Yeah,
with the
but
repeaters.
even the blasters they were using, so they killed Mama Spider or the big spider with the T-65s. But then the blasters were the A-280s or whatever they are, the ARC-280s. And so it was like their basic. They had full-on blaster rifles. They didn't have like a pilot's kit. They were using like the 280s in there, and that's like in Star Wars lore, that's like their rifle. That's the M4. The M16 or M4.
I always think of it as
Star
the because they had the straps. It always reminds me of the old Kenner toys. So when you got like a normal trooper, you got like the rifle you could sling on their backs. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh look, Kenner.
But yeah, no, the first couple shots where it takes the Mama Spider, yeah, listen, if you watch it again, listen, and you'll hear the whop whop.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
It's a distinctive X-wing laser.
What the devil hell was that?
What was what?
You seriously?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
There was a high pitched scream in my headphones.
Wilhelm?
Seriously?
No.
You guys really didn't hear that?
I didn't hear nothing.
No, but there's some people playing DDR and stuff down there that maybe something happened that I'm just tuning out.
Maybe
for
it's
those
distorted
listening at
and it
home,
was
the
like a cheer or something.
the Stu Mop Studios podcast area is right by an arcade. Just how it works
Anyway,
out.
freaky. So here, can I just talk about the overall episode that I have a challenge with?
Huh? What? I was ignoring you. What?
You wanted to push one of the drum
I did.
buttons. didn't you?
Yeah, but I haven't programmed it yet. I haven't had time.
Damn it. Stupid camera seeing everything.
I enjoyed the episode for little nuance pieces. Like I loved seeing the X-wing sequence was really cool to me. I'm happy to see Pepper Wolf back, and then Pablo Hidalgo. That's kind of fun. Like if you're a Star Wars fan, that's fun. The fact that he says go to 2, by the way, which is a film reference. So if you're on film set, you tell somebody to go to 2 if you're going to have a private conversation. Like that's film industry speak right there. So the fact that he's like, hey, go to 2, that's awesome.
Okay.
I had a good laugh. But overall, I did not love this episode. And I think I waited for everybody to watch it before I started sending my hate mail through. I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest with you. I mean, the arachnophobia part was like terrifying for me. Like, I hate spiders. That was not fun. But it was cool to see that the spider creatures, I don't remember their name, are from Rebels. That was fun.
This calls it a knobby white spider, but Scotty says that's wrong.
We'll talk about that in the trivia section.
Anyway, point being is like I just felt like as an episode it was a little bit on the boring side. I just didn't find it. I wasn't as engaged in this episode as I was the others.
I feel that because I distinctly recall talking about the Jawa episode of season 1, going that really did nothing to advance the season. Like
Yeah,
it
fair
hasn't.
enough.
So maybe there will be something that it pays off later. Like we got more Queel, it was more of that later, but and it gives them their signet, with the Mudhorn,
Right.
But
Yep.
but at that time I was like you are.
So my take on it is that it's incredibly hard just in production and story. You let off with such a high, intense episode.
Yep.
You've got to let your audience come down from that. And so you give them a slow intro. This whole episode, and there's a reason why I like this episode. It's between the two of this season, the first episode is better, 100%. I think this episode is better than The Gunslinger, and I think it's way better than The Prisoner.
Absolutely.
So, there's better than 2 seasons, 2 episodes.
But so what you're saying is they're crafting these seasons like a mixtape.
Right.
In the 80s and 90s.
Right.
You got to start off strong.
Right.
Then you go with the slow jam. Then you start building up again.
And so this episode, this episode's a week after Halloween. This is a horror episode. This is straight up a horror film. This is your classic creature feature. And
when are we going to get Buddy Cop then? We got to have Buddy Cop.
Yeah, we'll get Buddy Cop.
Okay, that'll be amazing.
We kind of got Buddy Cop last
super
week.
bad.
Kind of.
Yeah.
like buddy cop western.
But I want Boba or Ahsoka going, I'm getting too old for this shit. I mean, come on. Rex out there like, son of a bitch.
To Scotty's point, I totally agree with you, and I get it. I just felt like from a narrative standpoint, there could have been a little more world building into payoff. When you do the Castaway type episode, which is what this was, like you basically crash into a haunted house, right? That's what they did. They crashed into a haunted house, and then it became a creature feature, to your point. I just wish that they could have, I would have loved just a little bit on planet. Maybe the spiders come along, he's prepared the ship, we go off planet, and then we get a piece into the next world. Just a little bit more. Only because now we have to deal with Frog Lady for pretty much, I imagine, I'm going to assume from a writing standpoint, another 15 minutes to 20 minutes. And it's kind of like, I'm over her. Let's move on. I get it.
You don't think that'll be off screen? I mean, now, what was weird to me is, but you know what? If they follow the pattern from season 1, so like chapter 2 followed right on the tail of chapter 1 in season 1.
Right.
Chapter 10 followed right on the tail of chapter 9 in season 2. But if I recall, chapter 3 had a small time skip, didn't it?
Sort of, because 4 they go to the there's a time because they're on the planet in 4 for a little while when he meets Cara Dune.
Right. So I'm just maybe there will like if they're following this recipe that made season 1 successful, maybe we'll like see him leaving, like the door shutting, and he's got all right. So we're got to go to block 63 on elevation 12. I think they're going to
go back and see Cara Dune and I think. And Grief Karga, I think we're going to see them go to them earlier in the season rather than later, so we could see them in season 3. Chapter 3. Chapter
11.
Next week's
bankrupt episode.
Okay. I mean, that's cool. I'm just saying it is conceivable that we don't have to deal with Frog Lady in chapter 11.
Maybe, but I feel like they set it up so much, like this whole idea about like him being a parent and her being a parent and the sort of paternal sort of journey they're on, though his child eats her children, that whole journey. I don't know. My conflict with it was I liked a lot of it. I just felt like it didn't build on any character notes enough. It built on a little bit of world, but it didn't build on character.
I disagree. I completely disagree. We see Din Djarin care for the child more so than we've ever seen. Like we've seen parent the child. We've never seen him do that. We've seen him protect the child. We've never seen It's good to see that he's accepted this role that he's in. It's not just like even the last episode when we didn't have a lot of the child in it. You know, he's just I'm here to protect this kid. I'm going to bring it back to its people. He's dad in this episode. That's
true. That's fair enough.
He's totally dead. So, and this is I think great about what Favreau and Filoni are doing, and this is a Filoni trait anyway from his other shows. He doesn't throw it all at everything in one episode. He's not going to give you all of this in one episode. He's going to let this kind of marinate over time. And so, to your point. Who knows? This may mean something, but it may not mean something until next season. Knowing Filoni, hell.
Yeah, it might pay off in chapter 17.
Right, or chapter 42.
Chapter 365 when we have another dad and he's 52.
Right.
Or
I mean, there's callbacks to the prison episode and stuff for this one, and which was while not my favorite episode, it's kind of neat to see come back. I like to see there are kind of consequences for what he was doing,
but at the same time it's sort of resolved it, like we're not really looking for you anymore. As long as you get a transponder, you're going to be okay.
And that's the point, and that's where at the end of the day, like from a writing standpoint, I was the most bummed is JD's point of like at the end of the day it just resolved what happened. Like it makes the prison episode even more pointless. It exists, right? So as a not writer and a not like in the industry person, I felt that was stunted. It was like, we have a loose end. Here's a quick bow tie, where they could have maybe done more with it later.
But I don't think it was a loose end. I think it was just an added Easter egg. I don't see the end of the episode of the prison that we need anything to solve. I think it's more of an Easter egg. Also, I don't think we needed I don't think it is. I mean, while the New Republic we've learned are totally dicks, I don't think the New Republic are technically the good guys.
Right.
Din Djarin is not a bad guy.
No.
And in classic storytelling, bad guys go to jail. He's not a bad guy, so he shouldn't have gone to. They should have. I don't know what they would have done with him.
But if Wolf was, I mean, if he's the same character as he was in the Prisoner episode, right? Pilot Wolf.
He had less lines in this one because Dave Filoni's terrible.
Right. But I mean, he's played the same character, correct?
Right.
So if you remember, I binged season 1 right before 2 came out.
Right.
When the Razor Crest is leaving the space station that the 3 X-Wings are coming to destroy, I mean, he flies like right past them. So I can imagine Pilot Wolf going, when he sees it with Tanaka, what did you say his name was? I was going to say Tanaka. I know that's...
No, it's not. Let's see.
But anyway, him, the dude that is now my second favorite pilot because he just proves that I can fit in an X-Wing. I imagine, like, pilots are he's going to be like, dude, I recognize that.
Captain Carson
Right.
Teva.
But he's like, Din could have been like, yeah, but I also sent the transponder so you could blow that thing up. But they had most of the information from the vids. So I don't know. It could have, I felt like if they had, it could have maybe paid off bigger later.
It could. I guess I'm not upset with the episode as much as I was. I just was. The formula in the first season, chapters 1 and 2, worked really well for me. 3 was okay. I wasn't super upset by it. I enjoyed it. 4 was one of the ones I wasn't super a fan of. But even looking at 4 compared to this, 4 had like a beautiful narrative flow compared to what we got in this one. I just was let down. That's all. I was just a little let down by it. I felt like this was a little bit of industry bloat versus creative storytelling. And it happens sometimes in second seasons. Like third season, Mandalorian season 3 will be like gangbusters the whole way. That's just mathematically, statistically the way it'll flow. So I think chapter 11 should be a little more interesting either way. But I think that chapter... What is there, 8 episodes?
Yeah.
In this?
Yeah.
Yep.
So chapter 18 or whatever
16.
that would be, 17 would be fantastic.
You mean the first episode of season 3?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well, of course it'd be fantastic because the season 1, episode 1.
I'm just saying, or second episode of season 3. Sorry,
Right,
second
so-
episodes.
Yeah.
It'll be stronger.
Now I'm just mad he didn't make 10 episode seasons so we could keep this shit straight.
Just do whatever. You just, two less.
I'm bad at 10 counts, let alone 8. Come on.
But historically, these are both longer, right? Both these episodes are longer. The first, well, no.
They were,
Is that right?
They were about, the first one was like 58 minutes and
Yeah,
the
the
second was
first-
like 53. Or 48.
40. I think it
I think it
was.
was 48.
Okay.
It's like the first
really,
thing,
it's gonna
because
be-
I do this podcast, it's the first thing I look at then when I turn my phone on and I turn it on and I press play and then the little bar comes up at the bottom. I'm like, oh, I got 43 minutes of this. Yay.
Yeah,
We'll talk about
same
that on
here.
the podcast. Woo.
There's parts of it I don't like Frog Lady. It's a weird character.
Yeah.
I like
Agreed.
the eggs thing. I thought that was neat, and I like the fact that it's good to see that the child is a child. We've not really seen the child do childlike things. We've seen it be cute,
Right.
and we've seen it use the Force. And now we see this child who, you have to discipline and you have to train. You have to make it, to be a productive member of society. And it has magic powers and no control, and it's great.
So, I agree about Frog Lady. I have the same issues with her that I had with the native people from Luke's planet in Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, really.
Yeah,
which I know you don't understand what I'm talking about, Drew.
The caretakers.
What? What?
But the problem I have with those character designs is all I see when I see both of those character designs is Mom and Dad save the planet.
Yes.
That's all I see is I
Mom
see.
and Dad saved the world.
Yeah, Mom and Dad save the world. All I see
Terrible
is
movie.
Terry. Oh, you take that back. It is wonderful. That should be on one of your other podcasts.
We should totally do that on the Catacombs. I'll do it with you.
Oh my god!
100%. I love that movie.
But Brooke Shields so hot in that movie. Not Brooke Shields, Kathy Ireland. Anyway,
Kathy Ireland, yes.
no, but Terry Gar's attendants, the fish girls.
Yeah.
That's all I see. That's all I saw in Last Jedi, and that's all I saw with Fish Lady was. Oh, really? How's your bulldog husband? I mean, like, what's up? It's weird.
So can I?
I'm with you.
Can I offer some criticism for this episode? Because I've been very pro on this one.
Sure.
Dear Lucasfilm, thank you so much for giving us the gift that is Kevin / Baby Yoda / the child. I am bought in. I love the thing. However, when you shoot it on film, please don't show it like a full run, like a full like body run, because it looks dumb as hell.
It looks bad.
It looks dumb. It just doesn't look right. It's which is a shame because when it takes the tumble in the speeder bike, that looked awesome. Not because it was hurt,
Right.
like getting hurt, but it looked like a real stunt.
Yep.
And to have that to compare to whatever this thing is kind of being inched along under the snow to make it, well, I don't know, it was weird and it looked real bad. It is not. Raise the camera a little bit so we don't have to see it. I get it. We understand that it has legs and it's going to move. I'm not going to be like, where's its legs?
But in
It looked bad.
Empire,
It looked bad.
when you saw Yoda walking, it didn't look great.
Yeah, but that's also was a real dude.
The puppet?
Yeah, so like any shot you saw Yoda, like the shot where he walks away,
Yeah.
with a light to get Luke to follow him, that's a dude.
That's force. Is it force perspective?
Yeah, he's also a little dude. It's Deep Roy who's playing that.
Was he?
Yeah,
Okay. What is he, like 12?
Deep Roy's been around for a long time.
God, really?
Yeah, Deep Roy's been around for a long time. But yeah, so he played Yoda in the Empire, and so anytime you see
My
those,
concern is that Baby Yoda walking, and certainly when the spiders happened, it looked like how my kids play with toys running away. Like they just took the toy. I've got my all-time favorite new character, which is Tiny Diamond here. They have Tiny Diamond, and instead of like kind of doing this, it just goes straight across. Like it just slides across the ground like there's nothing to
Right,
it. Like it just didn't.
it didn't look right.
There's no movement. Nah, it wasn't good.
Doesn't look
It wasn't
right.
good.
But so that's really what I wanted to say is that y'all can do better. I mean, you make him look real. I mean, it's crazy how that puppet looks real. The eyes and everything just looks amazing.
Yeah.
And just to have
And that's why I said last episode. Some of that's CG.
right.
Some of that is CG on top of it. So
Right.
that puppet exists, and then they're adding CG.
Right,
elements.
like
That
it
is
should be.
fantastic good
Practical
work.
and digital should work together, and they've got it to a point where it looks so real. Well, we talked about this in the recap episode that people thought the puppet was real at times, and they would treat the puppet like a baby. They were Werner Herzog was all over about that puppet. He loves Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's just. It needs work. The walking needs work, and there's some great shots of him walking, but it's like the camera's raised so you don't have to actually see his feet. So he can't, like when he walked away from the Mandalorian when he's going to go like tell the frog lady's gone, because he's like, hey, come help me, come make yourself useful, and he's like, no, I'm going to go eat eggs, because that's what he's thinking. He's like, the eggs are over here. This is where I want the eggs, and so. I also like how he just straight up ate the spider.
Yeah. He's just like, whatever.
It's
Crunchy egg.
It's
Did
great.
you like the fact that the way it opened was very much like Aliens?
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt like it was a very alien. I thought it was a beautiful little touch.
It's a good homage.
Yeah. And it was also because that is ingrained in our psyche. That's like, oh, that's going to be dangerous. Like just the way the egg unfolded.
Yeah.
Like that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the egg unfolds. Like that's bad.
Yeah, it's exactly.
And while as
That's
dumb
exactly
as
right.
as dumb as Baby Yoda looked when he was running away, though, it was kind of funny when he was his adorable scream. Din Djarin's like, what? Oh, crap. Because I don't think he's ever seen that kid move that fast toward him, so he knows there's danger. And,
Right.
and his scream just adorable. It doesn't sound like a scream. It's like, oh, he's going to die. And then I also like the scene where they're in the cockpit with him, and the spiders are all over him and like on his head. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It's fun
It was
stuff.
good. Woo!
Anything else? Any other comments? Anything you want to before we move on?
No, not that I can think
No,
of.
I'd love to hear some trivia because I'm sure you've got some good bites.
I don't. I have some trivia, but they're not great. I have like 4 pieces of trivia. The Passenger and Dr. Mandible were both previously seen in the Mos Eisley Cantina and our favorite episode, The Gunslinger, Chapter 5. So they're both there.
The Frog Lady is?
Yeah, the Frog Lady's in the background, too.
Oh, nice.
So is R5D4.
Right.
Oh, and so I like how Strangers with Candy now is just collecting A New Hope droids.
Right.
Because she has R5D4, and then she now has Treadwell, who's in episode 4.
Yeah.
And so it's just like...
Well, and she's also got episode 1 droids. I mean, she's got a couple pit droids.
She's got pit droids, too. But I like the fact that we're seeing these...
I love those droids are 100 years old and working. They're like, whatevs. We got this.
You just treat them well or treat them okay. At the docking bay, Pale Mando, we've just talked about this. WD-15 Treadwell droid is seen roasting crate dragon meat on a pod racing engine. When you get to visit Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland or Disney World, you can visit an eatery called the Ronto Roaster that does the same thing. So there's Treadwell, and he's got a little Ronto meat he's roasting over.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
cool.
So
That's fun.
you can see that. I have pictures. I'll find them and I'll post them in our show notes for when I went before the world shut down.
Right.
It's the last thing I got to do before, like, oh, now you can't travel.
Mine was Pensacon.
I'm planning another trip back to go in March. You're both invited if you want to go.
Cool.
A large hairy Gregorian can be seen in the Mos Eisley Cantina. This species was first seen on screen in the shape of one of Saw Gerrera's partisan named Moroff in Rogue One. He's a big, giant, white-looking thing, not quite a Wookiee, but he's big. He had a big-ass gun with him, too. And Rogue One, a Star Wars story. However, the one seen here is the same as the Kessel mine spice stains in his fur. So they basically used the same suit from Solo, a Star Wars story.
Okay.
And didn't clean it up. They just put him in the background.
Brilliant.
Nice.
It's like, no one will see that. Nerds are like, it's got stains. It's from Solo. So let's talk about the spiders. So when I saw the spiders, I immediately thought Rebels. The Krykna that are on Adelon or Chopper's base. The ones that, predominantly the end of Season 3 and all of Season 4, parts of Season 4, you see them. And apparently I'm wrong.
They're the ones around that keep coming to try to get to the Bindu.
Yeah, they're around the Bindu.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are based on something called the Navi White Spider, which was from early renderings by Macquarie Art for Empire Strikes Back. Luke was supposed to fight them on Dagobah.
Oh,
What?
cool.
Yeah. So in Legends, here's the Legends version of this. This is I quote from the text of Wikipedia. The knobby white spider was a large land speeder-sized arachnid-like organism native to the swamp world of Dagobah. It had a large lumpy body with bloated bulbous head, 8 gnarled legs, and 1 large stinger used to capture and sedate its prey. One of the most bizarre organisms on Dagobah, the knobby white spider was in fact a mobile root that was part of the gnarl tree's life cycle. Composed primarily of calcified wood, it would break free of its parent tree, roam the swamp, and devouring animals. After gathering enough nutrients, the spider would find a clear spot and anchor its legs. And if it survived the period, it would eventually transform into roots, allowing the spider to grow into a towering tree. During this period, it's vulnerable to bogwings and juba birds. In addition to a very large one, there was also smaller ones, knee-high ones. Luke Skywalker ended up facing a number of these during his training.
Wow.
Okay.
Right, so they're tree spider things. So,
I mean, it's an interesting concept.
officially,
That's definitely like some acid trip type stuff. When you have a spider that turns into a tree, you've had a couple of doses of Timothy Leary.
Officially, the spider is not named yet. Neither is the frog lady species. So we're waiting to find out what hopefully Pablo or Matt or somebody will come out and say, hey, this is what these are. But I'll keep looking for Twitter on that.
So you got Cosmopolitan, Neapolitan, Tadpolitan.
Tadpolitan.
She's a Tadpolitan.
She's a Tadpolitan. I like it. And now it's canon in the My Star Wars Mando life world.
Brilliant.
But in their native language, that's
You have a future in voiceover. You're great.
I could be a frog person.
You could be a frog lady.
You have a face for a frog person. What you can't see is he
He's
gave me a finger.
He's flipping him the falcon, but with a different bird.
Flipping him the falcon. Oh, that's good.
Kids, ask your parents about it.
They're gonna have more
I think I need to
questions than
title
we
this
have.
episode "Kids, Ask Your Parents About It."
Yeah, that's exactly right. Kids don't eat that. Kids don't eat that. That's the name of the episode. Kids don't eat that.
The frog lady species thing, I was looking on Wikipedia about it. They were talking about what colors they come in, and one of them they said in juvenile form they're orange and blue, like what they look like in eggs. I'm like, that's not even. They haven't been conceived yet. That's just an egg. So no,
They're tree frogs.
they're not. You have to wait to see what color they turn into.
Yep. Not the best.
I wonder when we see her husband next episode. Brown chicken, brown cow.
If he's a chicken or a cow, I'm leaving. I'm just saying, I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that fertilization. Is all I'm saying.
Also, it sucks that you have to go to this one planet. Like, this is where we can only live. I guess it's like here. I can't.
No, she does say he's gone there to carve out a life.
Right.
He could have stayed on Tatooine, but he probably didn't have a job. So she's like, bitch, if you want to fertilize my eggs, you better go get a job. And so he's like, fine. The only job I can find is on blick, blick, blick.
Okay. So they're headed to an estuary planet. So knowing George Lucas, it's a whole planet with a giant river and like the little bit of land.
Estuary.
Yeah,
what if she puts his ass through this? All right, you want to come fertilize my eggs? Swim up that river.
I am not a salmon person.
I don't care.
So one thing to take away from this that you said it now that it sparked in my brain is hyperdrive would have killed her eggs.
Right.
That's interesting. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah,
That's the first time we've had some kind of like Star Trek level hard science in Star Wars.
like, but why the velocity, the vibrations? But wouldn't the gel they're in and the water kill the like? What's the word I'm looking for? Soak up, not right.
Absorb?
Yep. The vibrations.
I like soak up. Soak up. I need a thesaurus for soaked up.
You said she's not coming yet. Probably 3 or 4 more episodes.
Right.
Soak up.
Soak up. Soak up.
Oh.
Soak a ton up. Soak up ton up.
Soak up. Somebody should make a shirt with paper towels with soak on them.
Oh, it's got to get. Never mind. I'm gonna shut right up. I was trying to get Cardi B involved, but let's not.
She a bad bee. That's what I'm saying. She a bad bee.
I'm just saying. Ahsoka. Rosario Dawson.
You get her in a couple episodes.
I wish. Wait.
5.
What?
I think.
No,
I think it's 5. She's coming in.
Anyway, Danny, I hope you're not listening.
Does Danny listen?
I don't know. Not after this one.
You don't have
Not
like
anymore.
the agreement of you have just one.
Oh yeah, no. There's you know what? This is not the forum for this discussion.
Kids, ask your parents.
Good stuff.
Anyway,
Yeah, I think it's good stuff. Speaking of Pensacon and Ahsoka, Ashley Eckstein's coming.
Woot.
Yeah, so the voice of Ahsoka Tano is going to be at Pensacon.
Are we going to be at Pensacon?
We will in some capacity. I'm not sure exactly
Cool.
what. Well, at least we'll be.
Is Pensacon going to be at Pensacon?
Yeah, Pensacon's happening. Pensacon's happening. We got panels to do. I think I'm going to do one of these panels. I don't know if it's going to be a Mando one or My Star Wars Live. We'll do something.
Cool.
And
That'd be awesome.
So
Can I defend my trivia title?
Maybe we'll be doing a hashtag. Of course, that's always popular.
Hey, just remind me offline to let's see what we can set up for that.
Sure.
Let's see what we can reach out and get. I bet we can pull some strings. I really do think we can.
All right, I'll let Drew try. Drew pulled some strings earlier, so let's see how many strings he can find.
Again, not the forum for that conversation, so we'll just move
Kids,
along.
ask your parents.
Move along.
Move along.
Move along.
Move along.
Unless there's anything else, gentlemen, everybody good?
No, but I'm good.
This is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours, and may the force be with you.
I knew you were going to say that.
This is the way.
This is the way.
I have spoken.
Thank you for listening to the Mobcast Network.